Greetings and salutations. I hope everyone's having themselves a mighty fine day. Please like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell down so the Ghost of 13-month series doesn't get you, and you can stay notified, and check the description for other links on where to find me, where I stream, and my Twitter and social media, and how to stay up to date with me. I have the final Tower of God prompt that I'm personally going to put out. If any other of the creators put one out for us in tow, I will answer it, but this is the last one that I'm going to do. As a challenge to the Tower of God community, because I've been having fun with a lot of these. We've done a couple so far, and I think you guys have been enjoying it as well, and I want you guys' comments on this. We all read stories for different reasons. I think some people love lore. The lore whores. There's world building merchants. There's Ronis and swag merchants. There's action junkies. There's people who really care about the plot and the subplot, and then some of us are like me. You care about the characters in your narrative the most. The characters are the things that matter more than anything else. So I'm going to answer this question here, but the question that I ask to you guys is this: which Tower of God character do you relate to the most? If there was a Tower of God character that embodied the most amount of your personality traits and how you actually are as a human being, which character do you think that would be? Let's talk about it.
It don't matter though. Young nigga from Canada, brought from that bullshit and go like a matador.
I will give you guys, I'll cut you guys some slack today. If you want to take two characters and kind of mix and match and do a hybrid of two characters that generally kind of capture your personality, the way that I say, generally speaking, if you kind of took Arlo and Dr. Darren from Unordinary and you combine them, you'd probably get what I would be like in the Unordinary universe. I'm going to cut you guys some slack with that. But I think this question is fun and interesting because I think it gives us some insight into how some people perceive and look at themselves and what personality traits they think that they have, based on just like what characters they actually think they relate to the most. So I'm going to give you my answer, which is the rising star of evil, Karaka. And I don't know if that's surprising to anybody, but there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, Karaka, I would argue, is intelligent and pretty pragmatic, and somebody who tends to adhere to logic and reason. And I think I do that to a fault even. I do think there's time to lean into your intuition and emotion, but I tend to not trust what I can't particularly explain. So there's that. He watches the news a lot. He watches the news all the time. And I'm a person who thinks that if you're I understand if you're a little bit younger, but at some point you need to understand that current events, news, and politics affect you, whether you care or you don't. So if you're not somebody who's paying attention to what's going around you, I think that's ignorant. So remember that little joke with Hell Joe? It's like, I love the news. I always watch the news. Like, I probably, in terms of not news like stations, but I consume a bunch of news on a daily basis from different articles, from different publications, and different political views, so left, right, centrist, whatever. And then I watch a bunch of different content about the news going around in the world and things of that nature. But the most important thing that I want to highlight about Karaka is him being the rising star of evil in F.U.G. and being kind of this up-and-coming monster, but then Bam exists, who I would argue is the exceptional 1 to 10%. You see, one thing about myself, the way that I perceive myself, is I've always seen myself as better than average, but not exceptional. So I'm not the 20, 10, and 1%, but I'm above the whatever the regular crowd is. And I have a perfect example of something that happened to me in my life that always illustrates this and makes this clear for me. The first time that I lost an 100-meter race, I believe I was in the 8th grade. And the guy who beat me smoked me. Couldn't even eat his dust. That's how badly he beat me. But the 6 people that I smoked were way behind me. So to me, those 6 people represent the average, the crowd, the middling people, whatever the case is. So I'm somewhere in the middle where I'm better than average, but the guy who beat me, he's exceptional. So that person is Bam, so to speak. And I'm like in that Karaka role. And I think that's part of the biggest reason that I tend to resonate with him, because I could see the talent and how special he is and how he's a little bit like, he's kind of maybe weird, or like I get told that I can be a little different and like I have overlap and commonality with some things, but I'm a contrarian and weird and different in certain ways, and I see like the world of darkness, infinite past lives, and his fighting style to be a little bit unorthodox in terms of how things in the tower are, the way that I can possibly think outside the box. I think that is something that I relate to. And lastly, that there's some jealousy and envy in his heart when he sees a little bit of somebody who is like that. And I think that's very human. I think jealousy and envy are two of the ugliest emotions that I don't portray very often, but there's times where I even like, how come them, not me, you know? And Karaka has always been a character that I've kind of seen as a bit of myself insert too. He seems to be a little bit of a lone wolf, do his own thing, hide around in his hideout and cage and stuff, and a cage, but like man cave, so to speak. And I'm kind of like I'm introverted in that sense too. So he's probably the character that I've always seen me having the most maybe overlap with. But I want to know what character you guys resonate the most with. Let me know in the comment section below. And what do you think about my answer? And have yourself some mighty fine day. You already know I gotta show love to the Patreon gang. Yes, sir. Shout out to the certified BAM lovers, my CBLs. Big love to the Priest of Fire. I greatly appreciate you guys' support, but especially shout out to my 5th Zen God. Shout out to Simi, Scobe, Revenant, Miles, Lucky Roo, Lazy Dragon, Chris, Johnny Rogers, Irene Sharda, Triss, David Langstaff, Childish Nujabes, Alan, AJ, Abdel, and 5:28 a.m. Your support is greatly appreciated, and thank you.